Don't tell me he's gonna show the video. Don't tell me he's gonna show the video. Don't show the video. Don't show the video. Don't show the video. Ah! Don't show the video! What do we have here? The internet's darkest corner 6. Oh man, I wonder if your mom's genitals are in there too. Let's see. The Johnny Cashman incident.
Johnny Cashman spoke to his family nearly every single day. But now, on the 6th day without receiving any communication from him,
Bro, this is the scariest looking dog I've ever seen in my entire life, ain't gonna lie.
Johnny lived in Lynchburg, Virginia, hundreds of miles away from his home in Maine, and so, being unable to check on him themselves, they called police in the area and requested a welfare check.
Is that an apartment? Holy fucking shit, this looks like a refugee camp. What the hell? This looks like something you would see in Breaking Bad, bro. Who's living in there?
And hours later, they would call his parents with the news that they had found their son dead on the floor.
Damn.
According to the officers,
Oh shit.
Johnny had experienced some sort of medical event that led to GI bleeding that ultimately
Always these complicated words. What the fuck? GI bleeding? What is that? Also called gastrointestinal hemorrhage is a form of bleeding in the gastro. Oh, brother, what the fuck? The entire Bible.
Johnny had experienced some sort of medical event that led to GI bleeding that ultimately claimed his life. But this made no sense to Johnny's family. He was only 38 years old and had just been given a clean bill of health after a full medical exam only 4 months prior.
Let me try to figure out what happened. Why would someone's stomach start bleeding? There's 2 options. Number 1, he ate British food. Number 2, he ate Indian food.
But they were assured that there was no trauma, no drugs, and nothing suspicious found on.
Nothing suspicious except a completely healthy guy dying because his intestines started bleeding.
And that, as shocking as it was, his cause of death was entirely natural.
What? He went to the hospital 4 months ago. They checked up his entire body. They're like, brother, you're good, bro. 100% health points, bro. 4 months later, he dies instantly because his stomach started bleeding. And they're like, yo, natural. Sus.
No autopsy was performed, as the case seemed as straightforward as it gets.
What? They didn't even check up on him?
And despite his family questioning if they should get their own autopsy, they were told by officers that it wouldn't be necessary.
Probably costs too much, right? How much is an autopsy? How much does an autopsy cost? $4,000. That's like 10 PlayStations. Bro, I don't know.
And what seemed to be the end of Johnny Cashman's story.
Oh shit.
10 days after Johnny's body was discovered, his ex-girlfriend and her mother made their way back to his apartment in order to retrieve some of her belongings. She knew that re-entering the space was going to be difficult, but ultimately there was no way she could have prepared for what was waiting for her inside.
A toilet!
There was blood everywhere. It was pooled in the bathrooms, wiped on doors, spread all over the living space, and was even found on a chair and a banister. But the most horrifying part of it all was the walls. They were covered in splattered blood, which revealed long streaking handprints.
What the fuck? What is going on?
It was something straight out of a horror movie, and although Johnny's cause of death was deemed natural, what they found in that
Completely natural.
Traumatized by what they were witnessing, the pair snapped multiple photos of the bloodshed and ran out of the unit, directly into Johnny's neighbor. This neighbor revealed that they believed something far worse than a medical emergency had happened to Johnny, as they had a security camera mounted to their door which faced Johnny's unit. And on the day of his passing, it captured something incredibly disturbing.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Don't tell me he's gonna show the video. Don't tell me he's gonna show the video. Don't show the video. Don't show the video. Don't show the video. Ah! Don't show the video!
The footage shows Johnny making his way up the flight of stairs leading to his apartment at around 3:03 p.m. Nothing seems out of the ordinary at all, though it is noteworthy that he was holding an empty glass, perhaps insinuating that he had been drinking. But moments later, something happens inside that unit.
Don't tell me. Don't. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see, bro. This is actually fucking disturbing.
While it goes unseen, it doesn't go unheard.
I don't want to hear someone dying. I don't want to hear someone dying. Play. 1 minute after entry.
Oh, dude, what the fuck? What are you doing? Yo, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing, man?
I gotta say, respect for the people who created this camera. Having such clear audio through a fucking door on a probably cheap-ass surveillance camera that he got from Walmart. Respect that it actually captured all of that.
The audio seems to depict a man yelling, asking repeatedly, "What are you doing?" and begging for something to stop. On top of this, you can also hear loud thuds and banging, almost as if things were falling over inside, or there was some sort of physical altercation, before the unit then goes quiet just a few seconds later. It was unclear if this voice was Johnny's, or perhaps someone else who had been inside the unit.
Maybe there wasn't anyone at the apartment. Maybe the guy drank some type of poison and had like hallucinations or some shit, and then, I don't know, just vomited all over the floor or some shit.
And just 7 minutes later, this unseen person would emerge.
Okay, yeah. Nice theory, Radel. It's his mom. It's a fucking police. Who is that?
This clearly wasn't Johnny. And after leaving the unit, the anonymous man nearly makes it out of the building before he seems to change his mind.
Who's the guy?
Turning around and walking back up the stairs before fiddling with the door handle, touching it only with his sleeve, like he was wiping off his fingerprints.
Damn. And the guy did not see the gigantic fucking surveillance camera on this narrow-ass wall.
He then walks down the stairs and stops once again, where he seems to be in a state of shock over whatever had just transpired, before he composes himself and walks out of the building. But the footage wasn't quite finished yet.
Don't tell me this guy walks out. Don't tell me the guy walks out. Don't tell me the guy walks out. I'm not gonna watch this, bro. I'm not. Bro, this is actually fucking disturbing. This is actually some deep web shit, bro. The police is like, oh no, he just had a stomach ache and died of stomach ache. You walk in to get some stuff from his apartment, bro, blood everywhere. Then you check the surveillance camera and your son is screaming, dying in pain, bro. And some other dude is walking out. Are the police getting paid? Like, do they have like a wage? Do they not care? What happened?
Just 1 minute later, you can hear Johnny shouting for help from inside the apartment, and no further sound or activity would come from Johnny's unit until police arrived 5 days later.
My God, bro.
The footage and the scene at the apartment seemed to contradict what Johnny's family had been told about his death.
Yeah.
The blood all over made it obvious that Johnny's death had not happened in an instant. And this, coupled by the presence of this unknown man who was clearly distraught and wiping off his fingerprints, as well as the sound of the apparent struggle inside, seemed to apparent struggling. It definitely is very apparent, yeah. But even with this footage, police still believed that Johnny's death was due to a medical emergency.
What? This dude walks into his apartment, starts screaming, gets rid of the fingerprints from the door handle, walks down here. This guy's like, oh God, and then leaves. 5 days later, the police come in, blood and guts everywhere. They're like, looks like a heart attack to me, bro. Fuck it, let's go. Bro, the craziest part is the police came in, saw all of the shit lying around, the blood and stuff. They didn't even wipe off the blood. The police didn't even bother to clean that shit up.
As they quickly changed their initial story, saying that the blood spread was due to uncontrollable vomiting, and that Johnny had in fact likely suffered, at least for a short while. But this medical emergency wasn't elaborated on, as they didn't truly know what caused it.
If only there was like a type of procedure where you can look into someone and see what exactly happened.
As by this point, Johnny was already cremated, and so if Johnny had actually been murdered, which the footage does seem to suggest, there was now virtually no way to prove it. And what makes this even more frustrating is that law enforcement already had this footage, and they either didn't fully look through it or didn't think that this was overly suspicious.
How is it not suspicious if there's blood everywhere in the apartment, bro?
And soon, this video began making the rounds online, leading to one glaring question being asked. Who is this man? Well, it wouldn't be until May 11th that investigators would finally ID him.
Oh my God.
As Stephen Church. And upon being questioned, he revealed that he had moved to Lynchburg for work, but the opportunity he had lined up fell through shortly after he arrived. He supposedly stayed with Johnny for 3 days, and described Johnny as an alcoholic who drank constantly. When Johnny arrived home, Stephen claims that he started drunkenly yelling at him about paying rent, which led to the two getting into a verbal altercation. But when Stephen was leaving, he did mention seeing Johnny hunched over the toilet as if he were going to vomit. But he claims to have left before this so-called medical emergency started. But the problem is, it doesn't really match up with what we're hearing in the video.
As you can see by the subtitles, he's just asking for the money for the rent.
From the footage, we can hear everything going on in that unit, but at no point do we hear any sort of an argument, nor do we hear anything about rent. In fact, the whole time it appears that we're only hearing one voice. But there is an exception. To my knowledge, it's never been conclusively determined whose voice is who in the recording, and either scenario paints a far different picture of what may have happened inside that room. And because of this, his version of events is generally rejected, with most people seeming to believe one of two main theories. Johnny and Steven had gotten into a physical altercation, resulting in Johnny taking some sort of blow to his abdomen, which in turn triggered or exacerbated this medical emergency. And perhaps seeing all the blood coming from Johnny, Steven started yelling at him before deciding to run off, fearing that he would be charged for murder. This would explain Steven's demeanor and actions after leaving the apartment, and why he may have fabricated his story. And this blow to the abdomen could have easily been missed by investigators, as the injuries would have been primarily internal.
If you hit someone, wouldn't you have like an obvious bruise? What do you mean internal? Wouldn't you have a bruise? Holy fuck, bro, where the fuck did the police get their license from, bro? From Roblox? What the fuck? This is literally GTA role-playing police moment.
Johnny naturally experienced a medical emergency, leading to this catastrophic GI bleed. Upon seeing this and perhaps being in a state of shock, Steven yelled at him, demanding to know what was happening and telling him to stop, as perhaps he was moving around the apartment and tracking blood everywhere, which would explain the other voice saying, "I can't stop." I could see how this experience would make no sense to Steven, and perhaps just having no idea what was happening, he left and tried to make it look like he was never there, as he was afraid of being blamed for whatever was happening to Johnny. What bothers me about this theory is why 911 was never called, as his phone was found in the unit with blood on it, implying that he had it in his hand at some point, though it's possible that the massive blood loss just made him too disoriented.
Slight off topic, but the hairline looks like me when I was 15 years old.
However, in October of 2022, Johnny's case would officially be closed for good, as Johnny's death was labeled the same way that it always has been, a medical emergency that couldn't be further elaborated on, with the most relevant evidence being that Steven's shoe prints were not found in the blood, but Johnny's were, implying that he had not been part of the struggle. But in my mind,
This guy walks in his apartment. The camera captures fucking screaming, yelling, crashing. And the police is like, oh yeah, but we didn't find his footprints in there though. Roblox Police Department, bro.
Though regardless, without the possibility of an autopsy, this is likely where this case ends for good. But with this disturbing footage, I can't help but think that there was more to the story than we may ever know.
You think so? Bro, what? I've never heard of this case before. It's the first time I'm hearing from this. Holy bro, this video is ruining my mood. My mood has been ruined. What am I watching right now, bro?